a lot of things. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. The debate over citizens' right to self-defense has resurfaced, raising divergent views among leaders. A former Minister of Defense, retired Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma, has reiterated his call for Nigerians to arm themselves against terrorists and bandits, citing the government's alleged inability to protect citizens. However, the governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, has disagreed with Danjuma's stance, asserting that the security situation has not deteriorated to a level warranting self-defense measures. Governor Namadi emphasized the importance of supporting security agencies and avoiding actions that could lead to anarchy. TVC News Owolabi Adenusi examines this issue and files in this report.
This ancient Takum town is having a new look due to the developmental strides by General Theophilus Danjuma. The town now has a hospital, university and other investments. This get-together party held at General T.Y. Danjuma's medical center is to appreciate staff, partners and companies working for General T.Y. Danjuma in Takum, Taraba State.
I wanted to honor all the staff and to thank all of you in this institution, the best medical center that is privately owned in Nigeria.
Speaking at the event, the elder statesman observed that the government alone cannot overcome the challenges of insecurity confronting the country and made a case for self-defense.
It is quite clear the government alone cannot do it. I have warned very long time ago in a speech in Ukari that our people must be prepared to defend themselves. That warning is as valid today as it was when I made it. If we can't defend ourselves, we'll abandon this country into the hands of bandits.
Some of the stakeholders in an interview with TVC News appreciate the general for bringing development to his country home.
We are so happy that his attention is back to the state now, because the governor is doing what he likes, and his attention is back to his people in Takum too, as witnessed by the unprecedented transformation and infrastructural development we are seeing. And not to forget, one of the largest universities, if not in Africa but the world, T.Y. Danjuma University is being established right now.
Truly, Takum has gone past where it used to be just a few years ago. First of all, the energy, the dam and the energy it generates will provide power for us to industrialize in Takum. Now, the completion and the takeover by the TY Holding Company, is a credit to General Danjuma. The airport that he has built will also bring in investors to Takum easily. So that's a credit also that we have to give our father.
At the end, the guests appreciate the gesture of the former minister before being entertained by popular Taraba-born music artist.
All right, BQ, the Jigawa State's governor has disagreed with the retired general. But BQ, looking at what General Danjuma said, is self-defense the right call?
Maybe it will get to a point when it will be inevitable for the people to protect themselves. Because successive governments have found it difficult to protect our people. Have not been able to protect our people, especially in the hinterland. The urban centers are better protected, better defended against the onslaughts of bandits and terrorists. But our people in the hinterland continue to die and get wiped out like flies. So there's a pressing need to do something urgently. And General Danjuma, this is the second time that we will speak in this manner. Some time ago, he said the Nigerian army was complicit in the killing of our people.
Like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. So, and my problem is, you know, we talked about this a little bit last week, that there is a need to set up vigilante groups that would be permitted to carry the kind of weapons that these bandits are carrying.
True.
You can't have a situation in which you set up vigilance groups and you give them den guns to go and confront those who are carrying AK-47, AK-49, and even RPGs. Some bandits, as we speak, have armored personnel carriers of their own in the Northwest. They have their own APCs that they got through the black market. The borders are porous. These weapons come all the way from Libya, find their way into Chad, Niger, and then to Nigeria. We've not found a way to do anything about it. These weapons are now used to kill defenseless Nigerians. And when the vigilance groups stand up to them, they wipe them out because they are far better armed than the vigilance groups that these governors are setting up all over the place. Do you know how many vigilance group member has been killed in Zamfara alone? In one day, more than 60 were killed.
60?
Yes, a lot of these things don't get reported in the papers. But we know that these things happen. So, if you must set up a vigilance group, you must harm them. Post these people to their communities, to local governments that we can describe as frontline local governments that are always under attack. In Katsina State, there are about 12 to 13 of such local governments
that are always
constantly under attack from bandits. Their district heads are fled. They are living in the state capital. Who will wait until they embarrass them? So I want a situation in which we can protect our people better. I don't think that the people have the capacity to protect themselves against these marauders. You say, oh, arm yourselves. How are they going to get the kind of weapons that can sufficiently protect them against these people? Where are they going to get it? Where is the money? Some of these guys are using submachine guns. Where will the ordinary people? And if it becomes, oh, survival of the fittest, it then means that it is the person who is better armed that will prevail.
Right, exactly.
So, for me, I don't want us to get to a situation in which everyone is literally carrying a gun. If we get to that situation, crime rate will go up. Murders will become commonplace. Because if you argue with me, you know, road rage is very common on the road for those who drive. Somebody angers you, you will come out because you have a gun and you blow up his head. I don't want us to get to a point where so many people are carrying shotguns, rifles, they go around with it. Even heated arguments in the home could lead to somebody drawing a gun at the other.
So, BK, you think when it gets to the issue of self-defense...
Look at the way Marvin Gaye's father killed him.
Exactly. So you think the disadvantage outweighs the advantage here?
I think that the responsibility of government is to protect the people.
Yeah, Section 14. So
the state government, unfortunately, we all think that, oh, it's the federal government that should protect people. No. States must be in position to protect the people.
Exactly.
And we talked about civilian JTF in Borno State. It was created, it's a product of the law.
True.
They had to create a law to make the civilian JTF legal. And I can tell you the contributions of civilian JTF to taming terrorism in Borno State cannot be overemphasized.
True.
Even the soldiers will tell you that the boys are useful. They go out for some operations with civilian JTF. And they know the boys because they live with them before they ran into the bush. They were actually the ones who chased them into the bush. So they know them, they know their families. Yes. So those guys are even scared of civilian JTF because they believe that a lot of them have juju. So I'm saying that state governments need to do a lot more.
Absolutely.
And they should be permitted, states should be allowed to harm vigilance groups that they have created. You cannot say, oh, they cannot carry the kind of weapons that the enemy is carrying. It will become a rout. If you have to fight somebody who is carrying AK-47, AK-49, GPMG, and RPG against a person who is carrying, against some who are carrying them guns. No, that's not what we want to see. I believe that even if it will mean amending some portions of our law, states must be actively involved in protecting the people.
All right. Adekunle, if a retired general who has enough experience, when it comes to warfare, is talking about self-defense, why would the Jigawa state governor say, no, don't?
When you listen to what the respected TY Danjuma said, he was actually not calling for lawlessness.
Okay.
And when you listen properly, he didn't actually, to me, he didn't indict the leadership. What he's saying is that now it's so clear the government cannot do it alone. That what he said about 5 years ago, he openly indicted
the military, exactly.
About 5 or 6 years ago, that this is not the army. He led it behind. And you remember what happened, the Opla over this matter at that time. Now, this time around, he said he's still convinced that his position at that time. Please, why is Nigeria afraid of state police? With what we went through, the bloodbath this country went through throughout 8 years of Buhari. No, why I lost count of number of times we had to discuss this matter throughout that time. Why are we still talking about do we have state police? Don't we have it? Do need it? The Senate is writing something. The other one. No. The same party has been in power since that time. Why is it difficult? If we change the constitution, those who are not ready, because there may be some state government that say that are not ready, please leave them behind. Those that are ready, the challenges are not the same. If we move around Nigeria, the challenges are not the same. Go to Zamfara. It's not enjoying the same experience with Lagos. Plateau State is not in the same position with Kano. So the experiences are different. The challenges are not the same. So what are we saying? Let's have state police. Of course, we've had a lot of skeptics. It will lead to this, it will lead to that, abuses. Even at the federal level, is it perfect? Or some would say, it's about funding, the funding challenges.
But the police IG has called for community policing.
It should not come from the police.
It should not come from the police.
No.
Where should it come from then?
They should come. See, we always say we are practicing federalism.
Okay.
The federal police will be there. The state government should have their own police structure controlled by them. You call them the chief security officer of their state on paper.
Now, when you talk about
when
state
you look
police,
at the funding for every state government, go and check the record.
Now, when you talk about state police, the weapons they will carry, that means we need to talk about the bottleneck. They need to take approval from NSA. They are not supposed to carry this kind of weapons. Your thoughts on that part?
See, if you look at the problems we have faced in the last 10 years or thereabout, you will agree that Nigeria is ripe for a state police. But if you amend the law, why is it difficult for people to agree to the fact that we need state police? Not just the ones by the state, even the local government.
All right, Judge.
That is what federalism.
All right, I apologize. Just hold that thought, okay? We need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. Still journalist hangout.
In November 2024, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, our highest court, delivered a landmark judgment on lottery and gaming regulations. The judgment nullified the National Lottery Act of 2005, thereby upholding the constitutional right of the states. Yet today, some lawmakers push the Central Gaming Bill 2025, a blatant attempt to defy our Supreme Court and weaken our constitution. No lacuna, no shortcut. Online gaming does not strip the states' right. This is the rule of law, the supremacy of our constitution. If they defy the Supreme Court today, what will stop them tomorrow? This is not just legislation, it is an assault on justice. The Supreme Court cannot and must not be silenced. Tell your lawmakers, stop the Central Gaming Bill 2025. Protect our judicial institutions. Justice must stand and the constitution must prevail. Sponsored by Federation of 26 States Gaming Regulators.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Adekunle Yusuf right here and Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Now, BKO, before we went on that break, you talked about the weapons this bandits terrorists use. Let's talk about this issue of weapons, because these weapons, they come in and the people handling them, where is the money coming from? The funding, where are they getting this funding from? Who are the people responsible for the funding of these bandits that they can actually afford this weapons that they carry?
Bandit groups, I cannot say some individuals are sponsoring bandits. Bandits, they are big bandits who had made money over the years, and they have enough money to buy weapons from the black markets. I cannot say that Dogo Gide, for example, needs anybody to sponsor him, because he carried out some big operations, and ransom was paid, hefty ransom was paid, and he made money as a result. In some cases, bandits or even terrorists will ask for up to 100 million on an individual. I know a government official that paid about 100 million after he was kidnapped. And talk about the train passengers that were kidnapped the other day. 100 million was what these boys asked for. The one who was a foreigner amongst them, they made him to pay 200 million. And they will tell you, look, it's dollars that we want. And you must not take all the dollars from a single bureau de change operator. So it is big business. Some of them are buying houses in Kano and other places. It is big business, very big business. So you can't say they can that somebody needs to sponsor them before they can buy the kind of weapons that they need. No, look, there's a lot of money in banditry right now. And that's why some of them are breaking away from others.
Business.
You know, they're breaking away and standing alone. You will see some of their weapons. You can understand why sometimes they even confront the military and ambush our troops and kill our troops. You know?
Because these weapons don't come cheap.
Yes, from drug business, they make a lot of money. Apart from kidnapping, cattle rustling, and all of that. When you hear about oil theft, all those things, all those illegal, you know, financial flow, they made a lot of money.
Now, the general was talking about failure in security. The president is the commander-in-chief. Now that people have died, someone should be held responsible. who should we hold responsible for this failure in security, the Plateau, Benue, and all? Whose head should roll? Which do you think heads should roll?
The leadership, no heads will roll.
What do you mean no head should roll?
It is not that they are not doing, and is the president not doing something? The governors, are they not doing something? The commissioners of police, the IG, the army chiefs and all of that, are they not doing anything?
So no one should be held responsible?
They are all held responsible already. Because until they solve the problem, we keep talking about them, that what they are doing is not good enough.
It's not enough.
That is not,
it's not enough.
Taking, them.
You see, people are making efforts, but the efforts are not
good enough. But
that's what we can say. The other day, the governor of Plateau came up with some of the measures that, and as far as I'm concerned, those measures will not stop the killings. As far as I'm concerned.
And remember, the problem didn't start now. It's been there.
It's been there for
long time ago, before this democracy, especially that of Plateau.
Of course.
You know, if you go to Zamfara, it's the latest thing, I agree. If you go to Katsina, of course. If you go to Sokoto, all these places we love to roam about, you know, enjoy ourselves. Until, you know.
No, the thing, banditry just became something very big. Not that it had never been there, but it was just, I would say, in the last 10 years that banditry became something big. And it continues to get bigger and bigger, you know. The frequency of attacks is something that bothers me. It wasn't like this before. When we hear their stories, some of them will say, oh, I used to have cattle. I was a victim of cattle rustling. We reported to the police. We didn't get justice, so we decided to join them. Case of, yes, a lot of those bandits, if we hear their stories, that's what they say. I've interviewed bandits in the past. That's what they will tell you. That, look, we were victims and we didn't get justice from the system. You know, instead, sometimes the way we
turned into
freedom fight.
Oh dear.
No, they should not be say, okay, if we cannot stop it, then I will also join. Let me also. So that's the way a good number of them became bandits. And it's not terrorism. There's a difference between banditry and terrorism. There's a difference. The dictionary makes it clear. These guys are in it simply for the money. Terrorists.
It's about ideology.
It's about ideology. They have a goal.
Okay. Your final take on this matter.
Nigeria should find a way to come to terms with the reality. And what's that reality? We need to decentralize the policing architecture in Nigeria. As long as we continue to play the ostrich, you continue to have the problems. It's so clear. The approach they are using now has been used again and again. Has it worked? So when you are afraid...
So we need to do something different this time.
You must do the radical, take the radical approach.
Okay then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our